So I picked up this book, which is called Robert F. Kennedy Funeral Train, The People's View, by Rein Jelle Terpstra. And the publisher is FW Books. It's one of my favorite book publishers because they are doing innovative book design and also various topics, and it's always very insightful to see the type of books they make and the way they make it. So this project talks about the funeral train that transported Robert Kennedy from New York to Washington after he was shot in California in June 1968. It was at the time when Robert Kennedy, so the brother of John Kennedy, was running for presidency, or at least primary elections for Democrat Party. After his brother's death, John Kennedy, who was killed in 1963, Robert Kennedy wanted to run for president for Democratic Party with very much left-wing ideas. So he was in favor of helping low-class, poor. He wanted to fight the death penalty. So it was of great hope for people. So what happened is, between New York and Washington, they carried Robert Kennedy's body, and Paul Fusco, the photographer from Magnum Photo, was assigned to be on the train to make pictures of the funeral train. And he did something which is very, very interesting as a photographer, like to photograph everything but the subject. The subject being Robert Kennedy's body and coffin. He photographed like 180 degree what is outside the frame, i.e. people that are looking at the train passing by, who wants to be part of the event and to say last goodbye to Robert Kennedy. Also, again, because he was of great hope for people. I mean, Martin Luther King was assassinated like a few months before that, so it was another blow at civil rights, hopes for better civil rights. Paul Fusco did amazing images of people actually waiting across the train tracks, saying goodbye with signs, with basically hand signs and stuff like that. And it's the most famous series that, one of the most famous series that Paul Fusco has made. Probably one of my best series ever out of the Magnum photographers. And years after that, Rein Jelle, I think the book was published fairly recently, 2018, has, so she's a curator and researcher for many projects, and one of which is she has been looking for all the images that the people actually on the train tracks that have been photographed by Paul Fusco. She's been looking for people that themselves took picture of the train passing by. So basically the missing point, of the empty point of the Paul Fusco's work, which is the train itself, they photographed it from the other angle, from the other side. So the book shows basically images and also video stills that are amateur images made by people who wanted to say a last goodbye to Robert Kennedy. So if the image would have, if the cameras would have like some kind of a scanner, you could see inside the train Paul Fusco making pictures of the same people that are taking these photographs. So it was a big work to actually trying to scout for these images, because it's like 50 years after. And she managed to, across all the US, to gather this material. So in many images, you see the train passing. You recognize the people that are actually waiting for the train to pass by. And it's amateur's photography. So it also is a document because there are no other images of the train passing. And in a way, there are documentary photographies, even though there are amateurs photography. One great thing about the book is that in terms of design, the pages are collated like this, folded and collected, so like if it was a long train tracks, like it's one piece basically. It's not separated pages. It's pretty much one big line of the train passing by. In black paper, you have the video stills of the videos that were shot by the people. So printing it on a black paper shows the difference between the images, photographs, and video stills. You also have testimonies of people that remember, for example, this one. The Kennedy train had just entered the Elizabeth train station when my dad screamed to us to get off the tracks now, because he had heard the whistle of a northbound train coming around the bend. Those of us immediately south of the station were able to get off the tracks, but there were a few closer to the platform who were not able to get out of the way. So this tells inside stories about the train passing by. And you can see here the woman waving. So even an old lady would go on the tracks to wave the train, like if Robert Kennedy could be able to see her and say thank you to her. Obviously he couldn't. So this is the way the book is made, and towards the end, then you have a text that explains the whole story by David Levi-Strauss, and what the publisher has done, or the author, they have also, what I forgot to tell is that the images are coming from old sources, but they are classified in a timely manner. So from the starting to the end, they are classified by the time at which they were taken. So it's the entire travel that is taken on a timely manner, on a time scale. And at the end of the book, what you have is you have a separate little booklet that is hidden between these black sheets, which is basically images, actual images by Paul Fusco. So Paul Fusco has made several editions of this book called RFK Funeral Train, and it's a well sought after book, very famous photo book. And here you have some kind of a sample, a summary, or some kind of an extract of what the Paul Fusco's work is. So basically all the people that are shot by Paul Fusco here, with that movement, specific blurry areas on the side of the images, because Paul Fusco is trying to focus on someone moving at the same time, because the train is moving. So you have handshakes, and what it tells us is that you have two ways to look at one subject, one story. There is the frontal way, which is what people have done in this book, and then the other side, out of the main, let's say, the other side of it, which is these people, and the way people were waving and the way people were present along the tracks show how much Robert Kennedy was a loss for many people.